Hi, this is Michael Edwards, instructor for the Big Data and Bioinformatics High School course. This is part 3 of the Big Data and NFL tutorial. In part 1, we basically used Excel to set up our spreadsheet, our algorithm that we're going to use. In part 2, I showed you how to use that information to analyze that to set up our matches for this week. This is week number 5. Now, in this one, we're going to use this information. I'm going to show you how to use this information by using some simple formulas to figure out who might win and who might lose. We're going to use the average amount the offense or the defense allows, and the information on the weighted average of what the offense usually scores to calculate this. I've set up these matches here. What you'll find during the weeks is that some teams do not play. They have a bye week. This week it's Miami and Oakland. So what we're going to do is we're going to still stick that there because if we don't put them in there, it kind of messes up our alphabetizing and aligning data. So I'm just going to put bye here. I'm going to select that, Control C, or Command C if you're using a Mac, Control V. Okay, and I'm going to take this information, select this. I'm going to put my cursor over the side of it until I see a hand, and I sure do. So I'm going to pull this over this way and put it at the end. Okay, so now we've set up our columns. So in this column is the weighted average that the defense and offense allows or scores. In this column here, and what we'll learn in part 4, is a special index that I'm going to add to this to these averages. This can be anything. So my average, my factor index, has to do with the amount of turnovers that these two teams or all these teams give up or take away during a game. Okay, so I've got the factor index here. So what I'm going to do is basically go to my previous week where I have all these formulas, and you can see them here. All I'm going to do, and you can look through all of these, and when I paste it, you'll see, I'll go over the different columns. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to select, hit Control C, and I'm going to go back to week 5, put my cursor in the first cell here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste formulas. I don't want to paste the same information. Basically what I'm doing is pasting the equations that Excel is going to use to find this week's results. And bam. So given in this column is a ratio of the defense to offense. Obviously, the more positive would mean the more the offense scores compared to how much the defense allows. So this is a good index to tell you how good the teams actually are. So from this, I figure out the score. So to get Green Bay's score for the game against Minnesota, I take what their offense is supposed to do, which is be 4, okay, and plus what the defense allows, so that would be 24, B5, divided by 2. So it's the average of those. How much does Green Bay usually score? How much does Minnesota typically allow? And I do that for the other teams as well. So these are the scores without any kind of index, without any other kind of statistical factors added onto it, based on what they've previously done. What should they score? Okay, and I go further here. This is where I put the actual score, and we can line this up. So as you go through the week, you can fill in these blanks, and it should automatically populate your Excel spreadsheet. Difference here, the difference in the scores, total, if you were interested in total points scored during a game, the over and under, takeaway. So this is, again, this is what I'm using to calculate my score. So what I do is I take this index here, and this becomes this column, and then to calculate my score, this value based on how the turnover ratio, I'll take this value here plus this value. This is the average weighted turnovers this team usually gives up, times 5. And this is just a factor I figured that works pretty good with this statistic. And then I add that to the score. So this is the corrected scores over here. So this is actually what I'm going to pay attention to. So if I was going to make a prediction on the game, these are the scores that I'd be most interested in. And what's nice as well is I'm keeping track of how close I actually get to the predicted score or the actual score. So what we can do is we can use this from week to week to judge how well we're doing. How close do we actually get to predicting the correct score for the game? So, I want to stress you can alter this any way that you would like. Again, you can find your own indexes. This is just kind of a template for you to use to kind of see how can we use this information, our observed information, to figure out what might happen in the future. All right, so in the next tutorial, I'll go over potentially making one of these factor indexes. All right, thank you.